Saturday. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're from the UK, preferably the south of England, you will know that it is glorious sunshine here, and it is such a lovely time of the year when it's like this and not raining like it usually is in years gone by. So it's a glorious day, not one to be stuck here live streaming, but you know I love it. And of course, I was going to be here for a stream ahead of the matchday 4 deadline. So it's good to see some usuals in the chat. If you're tuning in, please do let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you have any questions, put them in the chat because that's what I am here for, to answer them. Probably over the next hour or so. I definitely want to stay on here until we get the Italy-Switzerland, but I won't be here until 5 because I've got plans in the evening, got a wedding to get to and other bits. But thankfully, the way the day's panned out, I was really busy this morning. I've got 2 hours of Saturday free perfectly when I need to jump on live. And then, of course, I will be out later. So if you have any questions, get them in the chat. I'm obviously going to update you with my most recent team because, yes, you've probably seen in the chat right now, a lot of people are on it. Does look like there's a chance that Mittelstadt could be benched. Nothing confirmed. And because they're kicking off at 8 p.m, there's no guarantees we are going to get confirmation. But because we all have unlimited transfers right now, I think there's enough of a worry for us to actually think, nah, let's completely avoid Mittelstadt just in case we do have confirmation that he is going to be benched. So we're going to be updating my team live on the stream because I haven't actually done it yet, and it'd be really good to bounce some ideas off you guys because I really do value your opinion. So again, if you're looking forward to the stream, please do drop a like. It's always massively appreciated. And I have to say, before we get into it, the biggest thank you for the support during these Euros. I was umming and ahhing whether to actually do the Euro content, and to be honest with you, it was the best decision. I've really enjoyed playing the game, but also creating the content for you. It's so cool owning players that you never could in the Premier League, looking at the stats to them, looking at different teams. So it's been really enjoyable, and hopefully you have gained some value from it because I've really enjoyed doing the content. So really do appreciate you guys throughout this whole thing. It's been pretty sick, I can't lie, so I'm just making a note there. So let's get into it with some of the conversations, some of the chat here. Cheeks, I hope we're doing well, mate. I am enjoying the sunshine, although been out in most of the morning, but stuck inside this house is not ideal, but we will be out there later, don't worry. Lucas is saying Mittelstadt is apparently benched. Yes, we will have the latest updates in a minute over on Twitter. Are we going to get confirmation? Hopefully we'll get something before the deadline, but right now I think there's enough doubt to suggest we avoid Mittelstadt because, again, if you didn't know already, we get unlimited transfers in matchday 4, so there's just no point taking the risk with Mittelstadt because even if he plays now, if you're in a position where you have no chips available, if there's doubt here, there's going to be doubt in matchday 5, matchday 6 and onwards, and you don't really want to own a player where you have those issues with your team. Let's hope we well, mate. Walker or Ake? I already have Pickford and Gay, so triple up on the England defence or no. So, spoiler alert, I have triple England and Ake in my team, but I think personally, you should probably spread yourself and give yourself Pickford, Gay, and then Ake on the final day, because if captaincy goes terribly, at least you have a captaincy available to you in the shape of Ake if you don't already have one. Because, of course, on the last day of matchday 4, we got Romania, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey. So if you don't have any of those players, Ake actually might be a shrewd captaincy for that final day. And we've seen 8 points is a decent captaincy score because not many players are banging double-digit returns. Aaron, is it bad I'm now looking at Chiesa as he's going to play striker? So I personally don't know whether he is. Definitely let me know if I've missed something maybe in the chat about why Skamaka might not be playing and other certain players. But Chiesa definitely did impress when he came off the bench in their most recent game. I think he's a good player. I don't mind the fixture for Italy, even though Switzerland have proved to be a tricky team. They're not going to concede tons of goals, and Italy have looked a little bit blunt going forward, relying on individual moments. So Chiesa is definitely capable of that. Don't mind him as a differential in the game. Adam, I heard Mittelstadt is bench. Should I change him? Yes. I don't think we've had any major confirmation on it, but what I will say to you is this. I think there's enough doubt now. I think there's enough doubt that even if he is out for matchday 4, if he starts for matchday 4, there's risk he might be out for matchday 5 if they do progress in the competition. Sorry, I just need to have a coffee. I tell you what, 3 p.m. coffee is right on the cusp. I mean, touch and go whether it should be decaf, but we're going to plow on with this one. Jesus, that's strong. Robbie, Mittelstadt is going to be bench. Can you change your team? Yes, I am going to change my team in a minute on this stream. Sorry, I'm so dehydrated. Oliver, Cucurella plus Sabitzer or Fabian Ruiz plus Van Dijk. Basically, do I double up in Spain midfield or defence? I've used my chips as well, so maybe diversifying and thinking long term is important. Yes, so I think we're in a position where you don't have any more chips available. I think splitting yourself on either side of the pot is quite important. So, for example, Cucurella plus Sabitzer is absolutely fine because, of course, well, both combinations here, you've got them split because Van Dijk is on one half, Fabian Ruiz on the other half of the draw. So either direction you go with your decision, at least you're covering yourself. For me, probably more inclined to maybe go Fabian Ruiz and Van Dijk than Sabitzer and Cucurella as of right now. But of course, I would need to see the rest of your team. Gordon, hey, Nacho, watching all the way from Singapore. Gordon, that's awesome to hear, mate. Hope you're doing well. Mats, is Nico Williams going to perform? I hope so, because he is in a lot of people's teams, including my own. Now, is he one of those players that looks great aesthetically, but is not really going to deliver points? I don't really know, but he's looked electric. He's looked brilliant. And I'm happy to take a punt on him personally, but I do think there are really good options in that Spanish team. Have you played with chips? Arvid, I have played my limitless chip in match day 3, and the intention is to use my wildcard in match day 5, because my expectation is that some teams get knocked out. There is a chance I push my wildcard to the semi-finals, because if, for example, all the teams, the players that I've selected, progress into the next stage, I might not even need the wildcard, and then it might be beneficial using it in the semi-finals, because of course we're going to have some big guns go up against one another in the quarterfinals, and that could see some popular players get knocked out of the competition. So maybe holding fire on the wild card until the semi-finals is necessary. But of course, everybody's piling in on Spanish players, Portuguese players, Germany players. If 2 or 3 of those go out, then everybody's going to require their wild card if they haven't used it already. Should I put Ronaldo, Mbappe, Morata, Gakpo, or Kane? Alex, difficult one to answer because I don't really know whether you're meaning like all 3. Of that combination, I personally prefer Mbappe, Kane, and there's a toss-up between the other 3. We'll have a little chat about it in a minute when we come into the forwards of my team, definitely. But I'd lean towards Morata right now. Do you think Costa and Hernandez or Mannion and Cucurella? So I think Cucurella probably has the higher chance of clean sheets and higher chance of ball recoveries. I think there's not much between Costa and Mannion, really. Goalkeepers are just very different. So I probably would lean towards Cucurella because I actually fancy him outscoring Hernandez this week. Caden's saying, what are some differentials? I think we'll come on to that in a minute. It's difficult with differentials because we're going into a stage right now where it's in limited transfers, so we don't really know what everybody's going to own. And there's some clear favourites in teams. So I think the differentials are going to be variations of certain players. So for example, maybe with England, instead of going for Gay, you go for Stones as your differential. I don't think there are many incredible differentials out there. It is worth noting. I think the template's strong for a reason, but we'll come on to some differentials in a bit when I get my team up, just to have a little play around and see what we favour. Do I prefer double defence from Spain or England or both? Until now, I've got both. Yes, I like both personally. I think the fixture's good. I think Spain are going to dominate the ball against Georgia. I think Kvaratskhelia, I think I pronounced that right, is Georgia's. I know they've obviously got the top goal scorer in Euros, but I think Kvaratskhelia with his free roll could be, if he gets in and around Rodri, could cause problems when the ball gets turned over. They're really going to look to counter Spain at times, just because Spain's going to dominate the ball. I think it's a step too far for Georgia, so I back Spain for a clean sheet. And England, we know under Southgate, are going to be pragmatic. Whatever you think of Southgate, he does a good job of setting out a decent defensive structure at least, and I think he'll do the same again against Slovakia, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see another clean sheet for England. Do I take Mittelstadt out? If you're looking to do, well, obviously we're on limited transfers right now, so yes, I would do so. I just don't think you need that headache in your team going forward throughout the competition. Pedri or Williams? I think the answer is going to be Williams, but spoiler alert, they're both in my team. They're both in my team. Who's better, Ronaldo and Mbappe? I've covered that one off, mate. Animations, hope you're doing well, my friend. Even all, gonna be lurking as in work. Good to be here, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Always a regular, always one of the best guys around. Omar, what are some differentials? Come on to that in a minute, mate. Gakpo Morata. I'm going to say Morata. Nico Williams or Bellingham. I'm probably going to say, controversially, Williams. Akanji or Bastoni. I prefer Akanji. He's just a monster in terms of ball recoveries in that Swiss defence. Double defence from Spain. Do not mind it at all. Kevin, is it bad if I don't use guys from Portugal? I don't see them advancing after this one and doesn't have any chips here. Yep. End of the day, Kevin. If you have that gut feeling that Portugal are not going to progress, you don't have any chips available, don't be putting Portuguese players in because they're going to cause you issues. And this is the whole point of the game. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. Would you be surprised if there were a couple of upsets? I wouldn't. I don't think any team has actually been outstanding throughout the tournament. I know a lot of people are talking about Spain. They have been great. But I think there's flaws in all these teams. And I think each opposition does have the capability of beating the other one. So, for example, when I look at it, I think Italy, Switzerland, we all know is a coin toss. I don't think there's any favourite there. Germany, Denmark, I don't think that's a guaranteed Germany win. I think Denmark will make it very difficult for them. And I think it's going to be a tough game for Germany this evening. England, Slovakia, it's just England, isn't it? I do expect them to progress, but at the end of the day, England could, quote unquote, shit the bed a little bit. Spain, Georgia, look, I think we all expect a dominant Spain victory there, but hey, you never know. And for me, France, Belgium should be a comfortable France victory, but if Lukaku does turn up and KDB has a game of his life, then stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Right. You guys have been very patient with just me on the screen. So I think it's time we get my big old Swede off the screen for a little bit, at least into the corner. And let's get my team up on screens at least so we can see it. There is going to be changes. This is my current team, but I thought it would be quite nice to actually do some changes live on stream to just get a bit of input from you guys on what you would do with this team. Because as of right now, I was pretty happy with this team about 2 hours ago when I was out. But sounds like Mittelstadt is a risk. If you didn't know already, let me just put this up and I will see if we've got any more recent news. But this is taken from Twitter account, and obviously they have quoted it from Bild, which is quite a big, journalist account in Germany. And they have quoted here in stating that Nicholas Füllkrug could be in contention to start ahead of Havertz, so that's really worth noting. But the big news, of course, is that a lot of people were looking to have Mittelstadt in their team, but David Raum, however you pronounce it, you guys know I butcher names, is in contention to potentially start at left back. So with that news, I'm just going to quickly live have a look for you to see if there's anything out there regarding Mittelstadt, if there's any recent updates. And there's I can't see anything right now. So based on what we know on that, for me personally, I think there's enough of a reason to suggest we probably avoid Mittelstadt. I just don't think it is worth it, because if he's a doubt for this week, he will definitely be a doubt for match day 5 if he comes off on the 60th minute and you've got no chips available. So coming back to my team, based on that, Mittelstadt has to come out. Now, a few options available. I'm quadrupled up on Spain, as you can see on your screens. I am somehow quadrupled up on England. If you didn't know already, you can have 4 from each team now. The rest of the teams are available to me. So I could go sideways, do Mittelstadt to Rudiger if I really do back the Germany defence. And it's worth noting, even though I think Denmark are a good team, I don't think they're a goal-scoring team. So I do think Germany have a decent chance of a clean sheet. I've got my coverage in Portuguese defenders with Costa in goal. Could go to someone like a Cancelo if I want to. I was really bullish on the French defence, but the closer I'm getting, the more I think to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a rocket from Kevin De Bruyne or Lukaku did actually turn up, because whatever we think of Lukaku in Belgium, they are at least creating chances and they do have their moments in games. So I do think Belgium could cause problems for France, and that's enough for a reason me to think maybe it's just not worth having Theo Hernandez in the team. So a couple of options here. Take Morata out of the team, put in another Spanish defender. Maybe put Morata to a Gakpo and give myself some coverage in the Netherlands team. I've already got Pedri and Williams. I feel that might be enough Spanish coverage to go forward. The other alternative is I go towards a really rogue defender. So, for example, I could go for a Bastoni if I wanted to, or an Akanji. And even though they might not get a clean sheet, they might be good for ball recoveries. So, let's put it into the old transfer section and let's have a little play around. And what I want to do in here is just chuck a poll on screens just to see what you guys think. So I think the first deliberation I have is who to take out. So Mittelstats coming out. So the first poll, I just want you guys to have a quick vote on if that is chill. Hopefully it's chill. Mittelstat replacement. Now, I'm going to put a couple on your screen. I'm going to put a couple in here. I'm going to put Carvajal. Do not roast me for how I spell it, because I do not know how to spell it. So if I go Carvajal, I will be taking Morata out of the team, because obviously I can't have 5 Spanish players. So Rudiger is an option. Carvajal is an option. Can't have any more English, and I just don't think I'll work, because that'd be crazy. Akanji is going to go in. And I'm also going to put in... I'm going to put in Bastoni, but I don't love it. Now, if there's anybody outside of these 4, let me know in the chat. Just put the player name. I'll be really interested to know. But get voting in that right now, somewhere in the chat. Who would be your Mittelstat replacement? If we go Carvajal, just note that I would then have to take Morata out of the team. So it would look something like this. Carvajal. Did I spell it right? I actually was close. For me, that's okay. It would look something like this. Carvajal in. 9 million to spend, by the way. Is anyone else struggling to spend all the money? It's crazy. Carvajal in, and maybe a Gakpo, or I could potentially look to do something to maybe get Ronaldo in if I wanted to. Obviously, France could be an option. Ake's already in for those that are asking. So I could look something like this. Not too bad. Not too bad. Got the coverage then. Let me know in the chat, guys. Get voting. Carvajal could easily be in there. He will start, but I do think also Rudiger is not a bad option as well. While that's there, let me go through some of the more questions that you've put in here. So, should I get Bernardo Silva or Bruno Fernandes? For me, it's always Bruno Fernandes. I just think he's more of a well-rounded asset. And prior to the competition, his contributions were monstrous, and I think he's been unlucky not to get more attacking returns this competition. Is Sabitzer better than Pedri? I think Sabitzer is a brilliant option. The thing we need to note as well, of course, is the dates of the game. So let me just come away from this for a minute. I might even be able to put it up on your screens here. In terms of the matches, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so the big thing we need to remember is for captaincy more than anything. So today we got Switzerland, Italy, Germany, Denmark. Realistically, any Germany player you have is going to be your captain. Then when we look next, for the Sunday, we have got England, Slovakia, Spain, Georgia. Realistically, you're probably going to put it on either Kane or you're going to put it on one of your Spanish attackers. Monday, it is going to be Kylian Mbappe, no doubt, unless you are really bullish on a Portuguese player. And then finally, if all else fails, if you don't give yourself an opportunity to have a Tuesday player, I think you're doing it wrong. So for me, one of the Netherlands defenders is actually a really viable captain, like an Akanji, Ake or a Van Dijk, both perfectly fine. Could chuck in a Gakpo, give yourself an option, but don't mind Sabitzer as a bit of a differential captain on the last day. One of the highest scoring midfielders in the game. Don't mind Sabitzer as at all as an option. Jack, I only have my limitless chip left. When would be the best time to use it if I copy your team for match day 4? Whoa, okay. So, let's just reset this a minute. What are the issues with this team? Well, Spain, Germany, Portugal, France are all on the same side of the draw. So while that will be okay for this week, if they all progress into the next stage, let's just take a look if we can get the... have we got like a... Have we got like a little bracket view? Okay, so it's perfectly fine to go with the team that I had. Just you need to be cautious of the quarterfinals, because realistically with the limitless chip, we need to remember it's great, unlimited transfers, unlimited budget, but your team then resets to the previous week. So for example, if you do your unlimited transfers for round of 16, you then play your limitless chip in the quarterfinals. When you get to the semi-finals, your round of 16 team will be your semi-final team. And that will be an absolute disaster unless you get incredibly lucky. and you have the certain players. And realistically, it's impossible to get lucky because round of 16, you're going to pick Spanish players, you're going to pick Germany players. They play one another in the quarters. So once you get to the semi-finals, it's going to be a disaster. So for me, it's terrible. It's not great, but I probably would use it in the final. It's not an ideal situation at all, but I just think you're going to have to use it in the final and avoid the chance of you being in a sticky situation where teams get eliminated. So we need to remember this, because if you have no chips available, just remember, quarterfinals is going to be an issue because you're going to stack up on Spanish players, you're going to stack up on Germany players. If they play one another in the quarters, 3 or 4 of your assets are going out in the quarters. Same applies here. If you're going heavy on Portugal and heavy on France, remember, when you get to the quarters, they're going to play one another, and then 3 or 4 of your assets are also going to leave the team. So by the time you get to the semis, you may have lost 8 players in the quarterfinals. We do get free transfers, which will definitely help you out, but then you look at the other half of the draw. If you're putting yourself some... This is why the other half's really important, this section here, because you're not going to go really big on Netherlands, but I think you could maybe hedge yourself that you think Netherlands are going to progress in the competition. So you put Netherlands players in, and they play Austria or Turkey if they do progress. So you could just put a Sabitzer in, and then Netherlands, hope they progress, and you're not losing too many players in this section. And then in this section, why I think you need to put heavy England is because I think they beat either Switzerland or Italy in this stage. So you're going to maintain England players throughout the competition. But of course, it is England, and we know they could easily mess things up. So do be cautious of that. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Obviously, it's a very specific situation with teams right now. So, guys, those asking about Mittelstadt, he's going to come out the team. So based on the votes, people are saying I should go for Carvajal. So let's just do a live transfer right now, get him in, and we can see what the team looks like. But of course, that is going to mean the admission of Morata, or maybe Pedri if I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I could take Pedri out of the team. But let's put in Carvajal. And then let's chuck in... Who would I want to put in as a player? Remember, the matches are here. This is a horrible setup. This is better. Based on this, for the forwards available to me, I think it's either Gakpo or it's Gakpo. It's Gakpo or Memphis Depay. But we're going to put that for now. Team starts to look something like this. Of course, we need to remember the dates of the teams that are playing. So based on this, I would just do maybe like Mbappe in for Gakpo. Something like that. Big question is, does that look better? Does that look better? I'm going to end the poll right now in the chat. But guys, let me know in the chat. Does that look better? Obviously, Mittelstadt, as I said, we might not have guarantees that he's going to be out, but there's a lot of talk right now that he could be on the bench. And that's enough of a reason for me not to go for him. And people that are wondering, why am I not taking Pedri out? I really like Pedri as a pick, to be honest with you. I think we're seeing right now with Spain where we've got Rodri as the pivot, we've got Fabian Ruiz as kind of the all-action, and Pedri's actually been given a bit more of a license to get forward. And I think he's been unlucky not to get more attacking contributions. So I think Pedri's a really nice differential in these teams. But Mohamed's making a really good point there where I could do, for example, a bit of a variation like this and do Pedri to Sabitzer, which of course does give me a bit of an option on the final day. And then I could look to go Gakpo to Morata. And then my team looks something like this. Obviously conscious of the dates. So I'd sub in Sabitzer there, and my team would look something like that. Again, strong. Those that are asking about the captaincy, personally, I prefer Gundogan. Each their own. I think Musiala is a brilliant player, but I just back the minutes of Gundogan a little bit more. And of course, being a penalty taker as well is also a big factor. And I see about 300 people in the chat. If you could drop a like on the stream, always aim for 50. That would be massively appreciated. And as I stated before, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, it'd be amazing to have you on board. I'm hoping, it's a bit of a wishful think, that we can get to 14,600 by the end of the week. Long shot, I think I'm about 25, 30 short. So if you're not already and you're enjoying the content of the channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. It's massively appreciated, totally free. And I always say to you guys, give me a week. If I don't provide you any value in a week, no hard feelings whatsoever. You can unsubscribe from the channel. That's absolutely fine. But I hopefully will provide some value over the next week at least. And of course, stick around for FPL content because there's a lot coming this year. That's all I'm going to say. Right, let's get back to some of the chat right now. But currently, this is the team. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. I think Pedri is a nice pick. Should I go for Cancelo if no chips? Look, Cancelo is perfectly fine. Just note, and it's going to be the same, all big teams on that side of the draw are going to play a big side in the quarterfinals, which is obviously going to take some risk. But Cancelo is a great pick. I don't see him having a minute's risk at all. I saw someone said about having a coffee at 3 p.m. is on the limit. Guys, we've got a whole mug to go for. This is an absolutely ridiculous choice. And there's bacon in this room as well. Some people say that if you have a hot drink on a hot day, that's what you're meant to do. I don't believe it at all. Nuno Mendes. Yes. Nuno Mendes. Some people are saying that he's doubtful. And I think he is flagged on the game. But I haven't actually seen anything to suggest that there is him a chance being out. But because he's flagged and I don't actually have the information, I'm just going to leave it right now on Nuno Mendes. But I do think he's a good option. And remember, I think it's quite tough actually to spend all the money in this game right now, to be honest. Carvajal, though, definitely a Portuguese defender is a shout. Yes. Remember, I do have the Portuguese goalkeeper in Costa, though. So I do have some coverage, at least, in that defence. So I got the hiccups. Sabitzer or... Now, you're stitching me up here with this name. Baumgartner. I'm leaning towards Baumgartner, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's a 50-50 with this one. I think it's one of those where classic FPL situation. We see it all the time in teams where you got a player playing for the same team and you always get the wrong one. And I think it is a flip of the coin here. I think both have the capability of ball recoveries, goal scoring, we've seen it. Also player of the match capability. So I think go with your gut on this one. I personally don't have a huge preference which one is better or worse. Sorry, it's terrible... It's terrible advice, but I just know these sort of situations where there's very little split between them, unless you are obviously an Austrian and you just really know your shit. I unfortunately don't on that one. You should go for Muin in defence. I will take a look at that one. I definitely will. Is your team for those who have a wild card or no? No, this isn't a team for those that don't have a wild card. I would rewind this video because I did speak about the brackets of the teams and how you really do need to make sure you're spread a little bit. But I do think, again, I'm being bullish on England, but I think having England is good because they avoid teams that you probably are not going to have huge investment in. And the reason why I say that is because we will have a situation on the other side of the draw where we could have Spain, Germany play one another, France versus Portugal, whatever it is. So if you've got 4 from this team, 4 from that team, they play against one another, you've automatically got 4 being eliminated from the competition, which is not an ideal situation when you don't have a wildcard available to completely revamp your team. So, yeah, just be cautious of that one. Go for Pedri over Sabitzer. I do love Pedri, and I'm a little bit stressed I haven't got him in my team right now. Why Bill sell? Please don't spam the chat, buddy, just because I will get to it. So I'll answer it now, and then hopefully that'll be the end of the spamming. So, Cucurella Carvajal, for me, I don't think there's much in them. For me, it's Cucurella. Million cheaper, great on ball recoveries. Both are great on ball recoveries, it's worth noting. But my stance is this. If you have budget left, and you're definitely going to wildcard the following week, maybe just go for Carvajal because he does offer a bit more offensively. Just to give you an idea, Carvajal right now in this tournament has got 1 goal scored, 12 ball recoveries total. Cucurella, 16 ball recoveries, but obviously no attack and returns. So I think it's very close between the two. Probably Carvajal is a little bit more of a threat in open play. So if you have the money available, go for Carvajal. But I don't think it's enough to be like ripping up your team to get him in if you can just make the saving on Cucurella. Why Kane, bro? I would say the answer to that is being a hopeless England fan and being bullish that we are going to turn it around against Slovakia, but let's be real here. I probably am just being delirious with that one and hoping that it does turn to be the right thing. Buy Gakpo or Depay. Okay, so this is a really tricky one because Memphis Depay is just, he's going to play 1,000,000%. He's been okay this tournament as well. I think it's very close between the two, to be honest with you. Again, I wouldn't stress about it. Go with the one that you get more excited about. I probably would go for Gakpo. I think he's a bit more efficient, but Depay's got their moments of magic in him. To get Pedri, do I take up Gundogan or Musiala, or do I leave it as it is? The way I'll answer it is this. Do you have a Spanish midfielder? If not, I probably, as you can see with me putting the caps on Gundogan, prefer you take up Musiala and bring in Pedri. Otherwise, if you've already got a Spanish midfielder and you've got double Germany, I probably wouldn't take out a Germany midfielder for Pedri. I think Gundogan and Musiala are just as capable of returns as Pedri. Which German defender can we replace for Mittelstadt? So I personally would just go for Rudiger. It sounds like he's passed the fitness test and he'll be in. It's really annoying that Kimmich is a midfielder on the game because that would have been the obvious replacement. Otherwise, if we get guarantees that Mittelstadt is going to be ruled out, then we want to go for David Raum maybe as a differential because you know he's going to play at left back. So either David Raum if we get confirmation Mittelstadt's benched, or just go for Rudiger. I think Schlotterbeck will come into defence with Tar being suspended, so that's also a differential if you want to go there. So I'm eating on stream, which is very, very bad manners. Chris, I am so bullish on England. Come on, the lads. Yeah, I feel bad not having the England top on right now, but yes, I'm fully expecting a turnaround for England. Pepe or Walker. My preference is to get yourself double England at least defensively. After that, if you're on about the third option, then I like Pepe as a bit of a differential. Good in the ball recoveries. Don't think he's much of an attacking threat, but I think Portugal have a good chance of a clean sheet this game. And I should like the double Germany mids. Pedri and Neco Williams double up for me. Hala Espana. Yes, I am hoping Spain go big with the selections I've gone for, and yourself, my friend. To get Pedri, do I take out? I've covered that one as it is. Chris, holy spam. Yeah, I was a bit savage, actually. Thank you, Animations, for tidying up the chat. I do appreciate it. Zani, for you to ask, sorry, you did ask Hernandez to France. I don't mind it at all. I think it's a good pick. But I also think Belgium do have the capability. They have big game players like KDB, like Lukaku. I know that's a little bit controversial, but I do think he gets the chances, and I think he will against France at least. Do I like Fulkrug? Yeah, don't mind it. What am I doing? Why am I trying to do an accent on it? Do I like Fulkrug? Yes, but only if he's guaranteed to start. Otherwise, you're getting either 60 from him or you're getting 30. And there's too many good forwards in the game to really go full Fulkrug when we have guaranteed game time from some of the midfielders. I just don't think it is worth going against them at all. Just checking as we speak if there is anything going on right now about I can't see anything, just a heads up about the situation. Sorry, I'm all over the shop. Just to say what I'm doing, I'm looking on Twitter to see if there's any more information about Mittelstadt, but there's nothing right now. Sorry guys, that was just me on my phone. What is my cap strategy? So, cap strategy with this team will be Gundogan day 1. Day 2, of course, Sir Harold Kane. If that goes bad, day 3 will be Mbappe against Belgium. Day 4, if things go horrendous, most likely a captaincy on Nathan Ake and just pray they keep the clean sheet, or obviously Sabitzer. But this team isn't completely locked in. What I will say, guys, because I'm going to be running this up until about 4 p.m-ish, I'll put my official confirmed team on the community section of the page if things do change, which of course I will update you if that does happen. So make sure you are subscribed if you're not already, because obviously that will be the place to check it out if I do change this team. But right now I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just thinking to myself, is Sabitzer that excited? But it does give me a little bit of coverage, at least in different areas, which is quite important. Pepe or Walker, please answer. I think I covered that one, mate. I think I said Walker if you haven't already got double England defence. Otherwise, I do like Pepe as the third option for your team. Is there a chance Frimpong will start? I honestly don't know on that one. I think there's enough doubt from my side to not bother going there. Gakpo or Morata? Honestly, it's a flip of the coin, but I would say based on the fixture and the way they're playing, I would be a bit more confident on Morata as an option rather than Gakpo. Where is Cristiano Ronaldo, bro? Yeah, I know. It feels a bit wrong not having Ronaldo in this team, and I definitely can squeeze him in. Just to give you an idea on how I could get him in this team. So, of the lot, I would probably then look to take out Morata. And if I was to put Ronaldo in, I would need to make a 0.5 million savings somewhere in this team. And where would I happily make that sacrifice? I'd want to keep in Bruno Fernandes regardless. So I think I could either take 0.5 out in the defence. I could maybe look to take Nathan Ake out. And if we were to get confirmation that maybe Nuno Mendes was fine, I could bring in him at 5 million. I think he's a good option. And it could look something like that. Double Portugal in defence. Absolutely fine. Otherwise, what I don't mind, let's just get them up team by team. If we go to Germany a minute. Let's get the defenders up. Just for price, if David Raum was confirmed to be starting, nice little differential there if we want to go there. Or Schotterback, I think he's probably going to start because of the suspension to Tar. So don't mind that as an option either. Give yourself a nice differential, cheap option in the defence. So in order to get Ronaldo, it probably means sacrifice of Ake. But I don't mind it. I don't think that's a terrible move at all in the team. So is Volkrug worth the risk for me? No, Zach. I don't think it's worth it because even if he starts, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes off on the 60th minute, and I'd rather have a player that actually has full capability of playing the 90 minutes. Is it crazy not to use Mbappe? I believe Belgium will stop fooling around. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think France has been incredible going forward. I don't look at it and think France are going to blow teams out of the water. I think France are definitely missing some components in their team. I look back at some of the clips of previous tournaments and I've seen people like Paul Pogba and all driving through the midfield. I really think they are missing that creative force in the team. And I do think the likes of Dembele are very, very unpredictable players in that side. Giroud a little bit older. They can't rely on him as the talisman down the middle. So I don't think this is the best French team we've seen. I think they're probably the most defensively sound we've seen in a long time, with Saliba, Theo Hernandez being so established, Jules Koundé not making mistakes. I still think Upamecano, however you pronounce it, is really error prone, and I do think maybe a Kanate, even though he has his issues, could be better. But I think France are more of a pragmatic team rather than a free-flowing goal-scoring team. So I don't mind it if you want to go against Mbappe. I just personally don't want to take that risk because he is going to be very highly owned. Looking at it right now, he's currently 62%. So Andy's a good captaincy option if you want to go there. Thoughts on Foden versus Musiala? For me, I still would go for Musiala. I think it's just more guarantees on how Germany are going to build up and attack. I just don't know where Foden's going to play in. Could we even argue that maybe Foden loses his place? Don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. And because of that reason, I think that's enough to avoid Phil Foden. Pedro saying, my only doubt is Kante or Barella. Thoughts? Well, I think Barella has a higher chance of maybe an attack and return, but Kante for ball recoveries is a bit of a monster as well. And it just seems like the nation's back in love with him again. So any game he plays, I wouldn't rule out a player of the match award either, which is really important. So, I mean, I think they're both pretty like bang average options. I probably would go for Kante, but I don't love it either. It's worth noting. Just seeing if there's any more news on Twitter about anything, but I don't think there is. Is Ram confirmed? No. No confirmation, but there's a lot of rumours that he will be starting. Kez, hey man, chosen Depay over Gakpo for the differential. Thoughts? Also have the funds for Morata if needs be. Again, I personally think it is just a toss-up between the two. I don't think I've seen enough to suggest that one is absolutely essential over the other. So I think you just go with your gut feeling. I know it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I think you've probably seen that goals get shared about. I don't really think it's just a fundamental player who is just everything funneling through. So because of that, I think you just go with your gut. And I do like Depay as a differential to the other options. Jude or Gundo. Oh, by the way, let me put my team up a minute for those that are wondering, just as at the time recording. This is how we're currently looking. Sorry, I had it on my previous like mess about kind of stage with the transfers. I'm currently looking like this. Right now, a couple of things that are up for grabs. I'm pretty content with the goalkeeper department. Defense, pretty happy with double Spain defense. The other alternative that I could do is maybe Carvajal to a Germany defender, maybe. Then it means I could change Sabitzer to a Pedri. But I don't mind Sabitzer as an option, but I do have a bit of money available, so I can upgrade Sabitzer to a more premium option if I need to. But I think the team looks okay right now. Where's Rudiger? Not in the team right now. Not in the team. Gakpo, Ronaldo. I mean, the answer should be Ronaldo, but we need to remember there's a big price difference between the two. So, for example, my team here, I can't squeeze Ronaldo in without sacrificing other positions. So it's all about what you're sacrificing in your team to get Ronaldo. Lamine Yamal or Pedri? I prefer Pedri just because he's a midfielder, and I do think that there are good attackers in the game other than Lamine Yamal. It's a brilliant name, by the way, to say, Lamine Yamal. Yeah, you can definitely go one Germany. Mohammed's saying double with Musiala or Gundo or just fine with one. Look, I think it's going to be a tough game for Germany against Denmark, so you definitely could just go for one. My preference Gundogan, but I know it might be a little bit controversial. Why has that happened? That was weird. I think it's happened before that. Ignore what just happened then. For me, I think it's Gundo just because it's guaranteed minutes on penalties and he's still attacking threat. You've seen them third man runs, those late runs that he's making. He's more than capable of returning in that Germany attack. Abel, thoughts on the same team, but Sabitzer replaced by Ruiz and the Germany defender replaced by Nuno Mendes? Yeah, don't mind that at all. I think Nuno Mendes is a great option. The flag has come off of him in the game. I didn't actually really know anything about any sort of doubts, so it sounds like he's absolutely fine. I think his game time is locked in. So I think that's a good option if you want to go there, definitely. Cancelo or Carvajal, really difficult one to answer, but the one thing I would say is I personally think having a Spain defender is pretty essential this week because I think a lot of people are going to be doubling up, so you need at least one just to cover yourself in some aspect. Thoughts on Akanji? Do not mind it at all. I think Akanji is a brilliant option and he's a monster for ball recoveries, as you mentioned, so I think he's a great option for you. Is it okay to use both Austrian midfielders? It is fine, but bit brave, I think. Bit brave going for double when so many other fantastic nations have great fixtures. Hello, Razi. I have Mittelstadt in my team, and I don't know who should I replace him with instead. So, look, I think you could go double England, you could go double Spain, Ake, obviously the ones that I've gone for. You could go for Rudiger or Raum if you want to go slightly more differential with your Germany defender. I think you've got plenty of options you can go for. What's the best England midfielder to go for? If you have to go for one, I probably will say, I'm probably going to say Bellingham because I think now Southgate might go for the Mainu Rice combination, which might see Bellingham just be able to play as a 10 rather than trying to do God's work on the field and playing everywhere. So for that reason, I do think Bellingham is the way to go. I have no guarantee on the minutes of Phil Foden, and I just think that Gordon is also a very difficult one to judge. Just checking again on Twitter to see if there's any news regarding players. Cancelo or Walker, if you've got no chips available, I mean, I probably would just go for... I personally would probably go for Walker because I think England definitely progress, controversial, whereas Cancelo is going to come up against a tough team in the quarterfinals regardless so they get through in this part. So I probably would just go for Walker, but I get it. It's not... it might be me being a little bit biased as I am obviously an England fan. Just checking in on Twitter right now because there's a lot of people saying that Rudiger is confirmed to be playing. And if that is the case, then I think he's a brilliant option for your teams at 5.5 million if you want to go there. Who will play for Italy since Calaflori is suspended? Well, I think there is a lot of talk going around about an Italy lineup. So let me try and get it up for a minute for you. Let me try and find it for you. Give me literally 10 seconds. That's actually a bit outrageous. Maybe not 10 seconds. Let me show you the team that is being floated around on Twitter right now. So this is the suspected Italy team, which has been reported by Sky Italia. Hopefully you can see it there. So Donnarumma in goal, Di Lorenzo, Mancini, Bastone and Darmian in their defence. Barella, Fagioli, whatever it is. Cristante, Chiesa, Scamacca, El Shaarawy. So, I mean, I just butchered every single one of those names, no doubt. So I apologise for any Italians out there. There's no harm meant. I just can't pronounce words in general. So that looks like the team. I mean, we need to remember as well, there's obviously no DiMarco. He has been ruled out. So there's going to be a differential Italian defender up for grabs in our teams if you want to go there. But that looks like the potential Italian team, reported by quite a lot of established media outlets. Zach saying, I'm really tempted to go Fulkrug. I have wildcard left as well. He will definitely get minutes. No doubt about it. It's just whether you want to go there, really. Because if he is benched and he plays 30, you're missing out on one of Ronaldo, Morata, Mbappe, Kane, Gakpo. So many brilliant options available. Sabitzer or Baumgartner. So for me, this, as I've said before, this is a classic situation like in fantasy where you have two brilliant options from the same team and very little to split between them. We've seen it so many times in so many different occasions where it's one winger versus the other or one centre mid versus the other, and it's always the other one going big. So I'm going to say Sabitzer. I think he's a good option, but I mean, there's so little between them. I do apologise. I can't give you a full answer on that one. I'm going for Sabitzer if that makes any difference. And again, for those that are wondering about my team, this is the current team. I'm pretty content with it. But I do just want to say, caveat, I may make a late change. And if I do, I will put that up on the community section on YouTube. So make sure if you're not already, let me try and get it up a minute just to show you where I mean. Make sure you are subscribed if you are interested, because you might want to check it out. Possibly, you don't have to if you don't want to, but basically it's in this section here. So when you come onto the channel, it is in the community section that you can see at the top here that's highlighted. So it is just there, and basically you can see here I published my final matchday 3 team selection, where I told you captaincy had changed. This was the original team where I said captaincy has changed. So don't worry, I will update you if I make any changes, but it will be in the community section, and you do get updated if you are a subscriber. So obviously, if you want to, subscribe to the channel, but no hard feelings if you're not. Trippier, I don't mind. If you want to go Trippier, it's absolutely fine. I just can't lie. I hate Trippier. I think he's awful for England, so I'm just not bringing him in out of kind of protest, really. But I do think he's probably a safe pick. I don't see Shaw coming straight in. My chip strategy with this team is to wildcard in, quarterfinals, which is of course match day 5, unless Spain, England, France, Germany, Austria, Netherlands all progress. Then I might be in a position where my team looks fantastic. I can make my 3 transfers to slightly tweak the team and then wildcard in the quarterfinals. I'm not ruling that out either. This team and chip strategy is going to be completely dependent on just simply which team progress out of the competition. I think just being a flexible wheel chip strategy is the best way to be, really. So, we'll see if there's any more news on Twitter. Can't see anything. Can't see anything else. And guys, by the way, you guys are absolute legends. Just hit 14,600 subscribers. I said I wanted to hit that by the end of the weekend, and you guys have done it already. Thank you so much. All I can say, thank you so much for that. It is much appreciated, as always. I'm glad you're enjoying the fantasy content. So, massive thank you to you guys. It is... if I can repay you in some way, obviously I will, and hopefully this content is doing so in some form or another. Thoughts on Upamecano? Kevin, I can't pronounce him, so I apologise. He's absolutely fine if you want to go there. Like, let's just give ourselves a bit of an update. I do apologise. I'm not as well versed with the prices as I am with FPL. I honestly think last season with FPL, it got to the stage where you could tell me any player and I would have told you his price. Not at that level yet with the Euro game, I do apologise, but he's 0.5 million cheaper. Christ, let me just get that up because you can't even see it on the screens. So you can see here the premium boys: Teo, Hernandez, Saliba, Konate, 5.5. You can get a piece of Upamecano or Koundé at 5 million. Personally, I prefer going maybe Koundé. If we look at the ball recoveries, because realistically, that is going to be the big difference between the two. In this tournament, Koundé has 18 ball recoveries. Upamecano has, 21. Okay, 21 is decent. So, I think it's very 50-50 between the two. Don't really think Koundé offers much going forward, so I can't really sit here and say to you, but he could get goals. So, based on that, I think it's a coin flip. If you want to be a bit differential, go Upamecano. Otherwise, Jules Koundé, perfectly fine as well. Oliver, but surely Trippier has better attacking potential than the likes of Walker or Mark Guy. Okay, so Oliver, it's a really, really good question. First and foremost, I will say to you, if you've watched England, Trippier literally does nothing in this England team. He's done one thing, and that was that back post ball to Gallagher where he should have scored. I asked myself, why has Trippier not been doing that the whole tournament? Because if anyone's watched all 3 England games, if anyone's been tortured by England in those 3, you'll know that Trippier has literally done nothing in this England team. But interestingly, 4 points in this game. It's all about the centre-backs this year. It really is. And the reason why I say that is because ball recoveries is massive. So we can see here Mark Guy. Remember, he's also got a yellow card. 26 ball recoveries this tournament so far, which is unbelievable. And remember, 1 point for every 3 ball recoveries. If we take a look at someone like Kieran Trippier, forget the doubtful thing because it sounds like he is available. When we look at ball recoveries, only 15. And yes, he does have the capability of some attacking potential like assists, but what I've seen in the first 3 games, don't really think he's going to be doing much at all for this team going forward. So I would almost get rid of potential assists or goals for Trippier. And that's why I think a lot of people kind of have to go for Mark Guy. He's 1.5 million cheaper than Kieran Trippier. I mean, 6 million for Kieran Trippier is just probably one of the most overpriced things I've ever seen. So based on that, I think Mark Guy is justifiably the better England pick in this team. Just for context, Kyle Walker, 13 ball recoveries, so nowhere near. And John Stones, his centre-back partner, 10. So you can see how they set up here. Mark Guy is much more of the aggressive centre-back. Stone's a bit more chilled, gets the ball, looks to sweep in situations. So Mark Guy has proved to be one of the best value players in the game. Why Morata over Gakpo? I think they're both brilliant, but I'm more convinced of Spain offensively than I am Netherlands. Would you pick Pepe as a safer option over Walker? I might be biased, but I think both have got an equal chance of a clean sheet this tournament. So yeah, I'm happy with either, to be honest with you, in your team. Verbruggen over Diego Costa. No. I prefer Costa. Ronaldo is very important. Yes, he definitely is. But he can't make it in my team right now. Surely you could change Morata to Ronaldo by changing Kyle Walker for someone like Pepe or changing Costa for Pence. Yeah, so Pence is a really interesting one, obviously being in the goalkeeper department. Because as you can see, in terms of price, where's he at? Oh, here we go. So Pence here, this tournament, played all games. And obviously, being the Austrian goalkeeper against Turkey, it's a good fixture. So Pence is brilliant at 4 million. And it could be an option for the team, definitely. It'll free up the funds for Ronaldo, definitely, as well. But right now, I haven't got the Ronaldo love. Oh, Christ. Right, guys, we're going to be going for another 5 minutes. And then we're going to wrap it up because those that are our usual watchers know that I have to jump on TikTok as well to do a stream. So we'll do a bit of a quick fire. Let me just put my team up on your screen to just let you double check what I've got right now. But as I mentioned, if you do want to stay up to date with my final team, I do recommend being subscribed and just checking out the community page just 10 minutes before. I'll post it on there, whatever I go for. If I do get spooked maybe with a little bit of an idea of changing the team, I will put it on here. So if you are interested, please do make sure you are subscribed and check out the community page just a little bit before the deadline if you are interested. But I get it. If you're not, it's not a problem. A lot of people saying about the teams are out now, so let's just take a look and I'll get it up on your screens if they are. Okay, official teams are out. Let me get them up for you all now. I believe FPL, I don't even know if it's Manuel or Manuel. Let's get it up. I just looked at the first account that put it up. Okay, here we go. Starting 11 for Switzerland. Usual suspects. Sommer in goal. Akanji is the big one right now. I think he's definitely a viable option against this Italian team who are really blunt offensively. Xhaka could be a good differential, but I don't love it. A lot of people talking about Ndoye. Again, don't mind it as a differential if you want to go there. In terms of Italy's team, here we have it. So Donnarumma starting. Di Lorenzo, Mancini, Bastoni, Darmian in defence. Then we got Barella, Fagioli, Cristante. Sorry if I've got that wrong. And then Chiesa, Scamacca, El Shaarawy. I mean, that is an awful Italian team, isn't it? Wow. That's a bad team. Does make me think to myself, maybe going for an Akanji is a shrewd move here. I don't see a lot in that Italian team at all. I think Scamacca's been off it. El Shaarawy, I mean, we're not in 2010 anymore, are we? God forbid. Don't mind it, but if you want to go Akanji, maybe that's a bit of a differential out there. Just double check everything here, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Make sure I'm not missing anything. That's the main thing. But for those wondering, this is my current team. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. Why double defence and not Mittelstadt? Mittelstadt sounds like he could be out. It's worth noting. Cucurella or Theo Hernandez. I prefer Cucurella myself. I do think Belgium have the capability of, you know, just like a one-off opportunity to score against them, even though I do think France are very, very good defensively with the players they have available to them. Mendes, do not mind Nuno Mendes at all. Of course, I do have Costa in goal, so I have a piece of the Portugal defence, which is, again, fine, but should I switch Bastoni now? I wouldn't buy Bastoni now. Would I get rid of him? I also don't think Switzerland are incredible going forward, so if you back it, I don't mind it, but equally, I think there are better options out there than Bastoni. I'd even probably say I prefer Kanji. Lamina Morata, prefer Morata. Fulkrug, only if we get confirmation he's starting, otherwise I would avoid. What else have we got? I think that's it. Guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. I do apologise, but as I said, I've got to jump on TikTok Live to do some last final few bits. So, if you want to check out any more, head over to TikTok. I'll be on there for the next 40 minutes answering some other stuff. If you want, so first and foremost, massive thank you for getting us to 14.6 subscribers. Hugely appreciated. Second thing, if you want to stay up to date with my final team, make sure you're subscribed. Check out the community page on YouTube. That's where I'll post my definite team, but it is probably going to look something like this. I do have Portuguese defence, but I have the goalkeeper rather than a physical defender. Williams put a good thing. It's very likely that Fulkrug will be starting against Denmark. Do not mind that at all. If you want to go Fulkrug, I think that's a good option. So we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do want to stay up to date with everything, make sure you subscribe. Check out the community tab in the next 40 minutes. And I'm going to be on TikTok Live. So if you still have questions, jump over on there and I will answer them. Have an amazing rest of the day. And I'll probably see you on Monday, no doubt. Take care, guys. Have a great day in the sun wherever you are. And enjoy the rest of the games. Cheers, guys. Cheers.